Hey guys, my name is Maddie, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be showing you guys all the books that I've read in the month of October. If you guys are excited to see the books I read, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all the YouTube stuff, and yeah, let's get on with the video. This might be a little bit of a short one because I didn't read like a load of books, but it's okay. And before this video starts, I just want to say that I got a new phone, and so if the quality is different, if the sound quality is different, if anything's different, I'm sorry. And I hope it's in a good way, not a bad way, because that won't be good. I basically now got an iPhone 11 because my old phone had like problems with the camera, and like the back camera of the phone didn't film things properly, it like shook and stuff. It's hard to explain. But I got a new phone and I used both my Christmas money, like the money that would go towards me for Christmas, and birthday money to get this phone, and I've been given it early, so I'm not gonna get any, like I'm not gonna get much for birthday or Christmas, but that's fine because this is my Christmas gift. We don't have money to spend on the phone. So I got a second-hand one, and so if there are any issues with this video, I am sorry. I hope that the issues aren't going to be too bad, and I'll try and get them fixed soon. But I just want to say that, just like a little disclaimer. But I should just get on talking about the books that I read this month. Okay, so I started out the month by reading How the King of Elfheimland Hates Stories by Holly Black, and I rated this book a 4 stars. I enjoyed this book. It was super easy, super quick. I read it really quickly. The pictures were really good. It was really nice to see like Cardin's POV, a little bit of like his past, if you know what I mean. And it was just a good book, and it's a nice way to kind of end off the Cruel Prince series. I would call it a trilogy, but I think it is a trilogy with just an extra book. I don't know. But apparently you can see them in like The Stolen Heir, which I think is Oak, and I can't remember the girl's name's book. So I guess you could see them in there, but I think they're older. But that I might read those books and see them in there because I do like Holly Black's writing. I think it's super duper easy to understand, super quick, and I would definitely recommend this book. But yeah, obviously read The Cruel Prince first, but that trilogy is still a great trilogy. This book is still a great book. It's just a nice way to end off the series, but it wasn't anything jaw-dropping. You know what I mean? Then I read Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard, and I rated this book a 4.25. This book was really good. Like I actually enjoyed this quite a lot, like more than I thought I would. I have tabbed this book briefly because I did really enjoy it, and I have bought the next 2 books in the series. You can't see them, but they're here. These are the next 2 books in the series. This book was really good. I really enjoyed this. It was had me giggling, had me gasping, had me jaw on the floor for part of this book. One of its downfalls is the ending. I don't like this ending, unpopular opinion, but this plot twist, wow, ending isn't that great. And I feel like the same way I feel about a different book with this ending, because I just feel like the book itself was amazing, but when I think of the book, I think of the ending, and I don't like this ending because I don't think it's that great. It's like, okay, so what? So I just think of this book and I think of the ending, and so I don't think of how good this book was and how much like it gave me Powerless vibes, which I love Powerless. And this book literally gives Powerless vibes because I think Powerless was inspired by Red Queen, so it literally gives vibes to the point where like it's almost copy and paste, but it's not. It is very different, but like there are a few scenes that are, if not the same, like very similar, which I'm not hating on it. I really enjoyed it, but this ending just wasn't great, and I bumped it down a little bit. It could have been a 4.5, not a 5 star, like it would have been like a 4.5, but I just bumped it down because I'm not a big fan of this ending. But you know, there is a different book, and if you've read the book you probably know what I mean. I am not a big fan of this ending, and so bumped it down, but no hate to it. I will definitely continue the series. It's just not got me like immediately wanting to continue the series. Like it's not like one of those endings that like tore me to pieces, you know what I mean? So okay, that's my thought on Red Queen, but I still definitely recommend this book. This book was definitely really good. Then I finished Finale by Stephanie Garber, which I'd put on hold for a little bit, and I think I rated this book a 3.75. I just finished off this book. I read from page 237 to the end of the book, and I just finished it off as I just wanted to finish it before like A Curse for True Love came out, and I rated this a 3.75. It was very enjoyable. Definitely the end of the book was more enjoyable, but I just feel like with the Caraval trilogy, her writing's different, and I feel like if I read this first, I may have enjoyed it a little bit more because I wouldn't have read like Ballad, which is my favorite book of all time, and like I wouldn't you know, notice it as much and like see it as a downgrade, you know, because I would have read it as like, oh my god, her writing's improving. I don't know. The world itself of Caraval I really enjoy, and I really enjoy like seeing Jax's backstory in this book, like not his backstory but like his past, because what happens in these books does definitely come up in Once Upon a Broken Heart and The World Never After. I really enjoyed this though. Like, it was really good towards the end. It's just because I had to take a break and because like it's not amazing. It's a good book, not a jaw-dropping book, but it's still a good book. I'm gonna rate this for 3.75. I don't know if what I just said made sense, but I hope it does. I'm filming this at like 10 o'clock at night, so that's why I'm making no sense. But this book is 3.75. It's good. I definitely recommend this trilogy, but if you don't like this trilogy, still read Once Upon a Broken Heart and The World Never After, and now Castle of True Love because that's out, because they are such good books. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of the Caraval trilogy. Like, the first book was 4 stars, second book was 3.5 I believe, and this is 3.75. I'm not the biggest fan of the Caraval trilogy. I still really like it, but it's not nowhere near as good as Once Upon a Broken Heart, so I'd still say definitely read those books even if you don't like these, because it's so much better. Like, the writing definitely improves. It's just so much better, but I am partially relieved to have finally finished it, because now I can put the trilogy away and never touch it again. And then I read the highlight of my year, the most anticipated read of the year for me, of literally ever, A Curse of True Love by Stephanie Garber. I really enjoyed this book. Like, I binged this book in a day. I read it before my physical copy even came. I read it on Kindle and I literally sped through it through the whole day. I got home and I was speeding. I was literally binging. This book was really good. I enjoyed it. It kept me on my toes. It was like everything I could have wanted it to be, and it was so good. I was bawling my eyes out. Like, genuinely, I was crying so hard. There were some points where I wanted to throw hands, some points where I was like bawling my eyes out to the point where it looks like I'm grieving, when I was giggling, kicking my feet, when my jaw was on the floor. This book just took me through the emotions, you know what I mean? I rated it a 4.75 and it was giving 5 stars, but I am slightly disappointed with this book because there are so many missed opportunities to this book that I feel like Stephanie could have done. I felt like it was unintentionally rushed a little bit, because if you didn't know, she has to like push it back a few times to like fit deadlines and this whole thing, which I'm not blaming her for. I'm just saying because it happened, I feel like it was unintentionally a little bit rushed, which meant she missed possible things she could have done to like completely wrap up the trilogy. She kind of just missed things and left a lot of questions unanswered, and it just bumped it down because I have so many questions. I don't fully understand like some things, and I feel like there are quite a few plot holes in this book. But apart from all that kind of like not understanding, plot holes stuff, which might just be me, like if I reread this book and I completely disagree with it, with what I'm saying now, fair enough. And it was so good to be back in the world again. I'd waited 7 months for this book, and so I feel like I did slightly overhype it, so that might be part of the cause. But it just left a lot of things unanswered, created sometimes even more questions for me. When it's meant to be the final book in a series, which should answer the questions. Like, finale wrapped up quite nicely. This one wrapped up, but still left questions unanswered. So, I don't know, for that I'm going to bump it down. It had a lot of plot holes, but apart from that, it was still such a good book. I definitely recommend it. And please go read Once Upon a Broken Heart. Like, just start this trilogy. If you haven't already, go read this trilogy. And then finally, this isn't a complete book, but I just wanted to include this in this video, but I have read some pages of another book, which is Assassin's Blade by Sarah J. Maas. I'm partway through this book. I've read 160 pages of this book, and so I'm going to include this in the wrap-up that I read 160 pages of the Assassin's Blade. I will give my thoughts on it so far. This book is very good so far. Like, I am really enjoying it. It's giving like 4-star energy right now. I'm right now on the 3rd novella because this book is just a bunch of like prequel novellas to the Throne of Glass series. I'm just reading this to kind of like get me into the world, and I'm trusting Bessie Des on the fact that I should read this first. I'm trusting Sarah on the fact that this helped her. I'm really enjoying this. I love Selena, I love Sam. I'm just really enjoying this book. But yeah, I know this isn't a complete book, so I can't give like a rating, but it is giving kind of 4-star energy right now. Like, if I had to rate it now, it would be like a 4 stars. But yeah, I just wanted to say that I am partway through this book and include this in the wrap-up just because it kind of is a wrap-up for the month. Like, I read part of a book, you know? But yeah, these are the books that I read in October. I know it's not a lot. It's only like 4 whole books, or like technically 3 because I did finish Finale. I didn't start it from scratch. And like, you know, it's not a lot, but it's okay. You guys can't see the Kindle, but it is there. It is there. But I feel like it's good for me as well, because obviously I have to go to school, so I don't have all day to read. I feel like it's a good amount. My aim for every single month is to read at least 4, and I did that, so I'm glad. I'm glad of that. But yeah, overall this month, I feel like I had a good reading month. I didn't have any big disappointment books. I had a lot of 4-star kind of area. I feel like was the average for this month, around 4 stars, and I'm happy with that. I'm perfectly happy with that. We didn't get any 5 stars, but that's okay. I'm still perfectly happy with kind of the month we had and the books that we read. And yeah, my most hyped up book, most anticipated book of all time, I read this month, and I'm glad about it. I'm so glad. But yeah, that's going to be my wrap up for the month of October. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I cannot wait for my November reading. And I have a lot of good books that I want to get to for November, so I'm super duper excited. Oh, one more thing. As for the books off my hopefuls list that I made from my TBR jar for October, I read 2 of those, and the 2 that I read which were on there, or technically 3, I think I did end up saying that A Curse of True Love would be there in essence. So I read A Curse of True Love, which I think was technically on there, I think. And Finale was one of them, and then Red Queen was the other. These 2 were definitely on there. So I did read 2 off of my hopefuls list, which I am glad about. I know it's not a lot, but it's something. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if you did, and thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye guys!